Today I'm going to review for you a Note 3. The Note 3 is, in my opinion, one of the most anticipated devices of 2013. I've been waiting for this device ever since the Galaxy S4 was initially announced and even released, and even when the device was initially, unpacked in Germany, and we got to see the device. I've basically been waiting for it. Finally, it came out on T-Mobile on the 2nd, I think, and then I picked it up from the store. Very, very, very happy with the device for the last few days I've been using it. I got a chance to do a quick unboxing. We're going to cover that in the part 1 of the series that I'm going to do for you, and we're going to do a general overview of the device. I'm going to do a second video that will cover the rooting process of this, as well as the ability to, obviously, some of the benefits of having root and why do we need to root on the device. We'll talk a little bit more also as far as Odin and the ability to root using chain fires method. Let's go ahead and dive in with the unboxing and the overview. Okay, what we have here is the T-Mobile variant of the Galaxy Note 3. We have 4G capability, we have S Pen, Watch On, Android 4.3 for the operating system. We have a 5.7-inch display, Super HD's, actually it's HD Super AMOLED display, a Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 running at 2.3 quad-core processing, 13 megapixel back shooter with LED flash, 2 megapixel front-facing camera, as well as having a 1080p display. Overall, it's Wi-Fi certified, and it definitely has one of the main benefits, obviously, is the new feature, Knox. Let's go ahead and check out what's in the box. I'll go ahead and speed up the process here a little bit, just so that we don't have to watch me open up the entire thing. Here we are greeted by the beautiful Galaxy Note 3. We're going to go ahead and take out the device, and then put it a little bit on the side right now and concentrate on what's in the box. Actually, hold on, let me take it out of this. And okay, so it seems like this is coming off on the side. Okay, that's not a problem. We'll go ahead and put the stuff and put all of that on the side. We'll put the phone down. Okay, so what we have in the box essentially is, first we get the ISIS certified SIM card. This is a SIM card that's certified to work with the ISIS payment method used by most of the major carriers that's coming out in the US in the near future. The rest of the things on the box are basically the manuals you're expecting. The other thing is we have the 3200 milliamp power battery. That's a nice little bump from the 3100 from the Note 2. We'll put that to the side. We have also the headphones. Those are standard Samsung headphones. It comes with a little bit extra fittings. Hold on, let me get this. Okay, the fittings for that. The other thing here, we have the tip replacement tool for the S Pen. We have our 2 amp charger, the standard Samsung charger for the Note 2 and the Note 3, as well as the S4 actually. And then our USB 3.0 cable that's used for data sync and for charging. And it does provide enough power to charge the device at a slightly faster ratio. Okay, we'll go ahead and take the screen label on top and then put that on the side. And what we have here essentially is a 5.7-inch display running at a 1080p resolution. Very beautiful, very vibrant display running on this Note 3. And also we have here is the volume rocker on the left side. And then what we also have on the top part is a 3.5mm headphone jack, microphone, IR blaster. And this is what you'd use to be able to control your television. The other thing on the other side, on the right side of the device, what we have is a power button, and basically clean otherwise, and then what looks like a small microphone on the bottom part of the screen itself, or bottom part of the side part of the device itself. And of course, let's not forget, the S Pen is housed on the bottom right side of the screen. Very nice. We'll put that back. We'll concentrate a little more. We have a bottom-facing speaker on this device, as opposed to what we're normally used on the Note 2 and the Galaxy S4 as a back-facing speaker. It's not that bad, and the audio comes out pretty clean, just not as loud. Our USB 3.0 connector and our third and last microphone. The USB 3.0 cable is very nice and does end up helping us providing the speed and the charging capabilities to charge at a much higher rate. Other than that, it's pretty clean. We'll go ahead and take off the back. Overall, the back is actually still plastic. What we've noticed, a lot of people say, is that it says that it looks like leather. In reality, this is still plastic. It has that nice stitching on the side, which is what with a very nice difference from the Note 2. But overall, still plastic, still does the same thing. There's 2 connectors back there, but they don't really do anything on this stock case. We'll go ahead and look at the device on the back. We do have some connectors on the side, on the top, and that's, I assume, where the wireless charging is going to come in. You have your 13 megapixel shooter. This is where the camera goes in with the LED flash. You have your SIM card insert in there, and your memory card goes right on top of it. Overall, very nice, very neat, very snug as far as the form fitting, and it works very good. I went ahead and inserted the memory card and the SIM card. I'll put in the battery and the back cover. Overall, very simple, very nice. This actually pretty snug in there, so there's not that much room for anything else. We'll go ahead and put them on, and it snaps on pretty quickly. We'll go ahead and try to do a first power on the device. I went ahead and customized the device a little bit. I installed some of my application. The interface itself overall is pretty much the same. If you use the Galaxy S3, Note 2, Galaxy S4, TouchWiz pretty much looks the same. And I think that's one of the main things that Samsung's trying to drive. They want to make sure that the interface or the user experience stays the same across all their devices. Not to make it, look any different, but you wouldn't know it that if it's running Android 4.3 in the background without actually pulling down the notification panel. So if we go ahead and get into the notification panel, one finger down will bring down the normal notification panel. You'll notice you still have your toggles. They're still scrollable. You have your brightness set. And then on the top right is where you notice the 4.3 implementation of Jelly Bean. Is when you see the gear and the option. The two finger down bring down the toggles, and the one finger down brings down the normal notification panel. Samsung decided to help some of the users to the Galaxy Note 3 system. So what they did is provided a help option under the menu. It's basically a short list categorized by all the new features that the Note 3 provide. Some of these features are present in the Galaxy S4, but other than that, it's overall new features to the Galaxy Note 3. The other new additions that they added to the Galaxy Note 3 is the new My Magazine. And essentially it's it's a flipboard type of style interface that allows you to look at your personal information, local information here and now. Obviously it uses your location to be able to pull that information. You're able to customize it. You have news, personal, here and now, and social. There's other categories you're also able to add, but I've actually chosen just to keep this. You can customize this, of course, and hit done. Go back, and it's all controlled by the home button. So if you click home, it takes you home, and if you click home again, it brings you back into the actual My Magazine functionality. It's nice, it's very useful, and of course if you go home and double click, and you'll end up getting S-Voice. S-Voice is still actually present in this device. It doesn't go away. The functionality, unfortunately, are still limited to the same version on the Note 2 and the Galaxy S4. What we also get now is if we end up pressing and holding the button, we get the multi-touch or the multi-using option. You still have the same thing. You can press one button, close all of them, press and hold again. This is where you get your Google Now. You have your Task Manager, your Google Now function. Google Now still works the same way as usual. If we go under Settings, we have the same paginated version of the Google, or at least the Android operating system. You have Connections, Device, Control, and General. Under, of course, Connections is where you get all your typical connections as far as Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. You do also see where the Wi-Fi calling, which is a T-Mobile specific version. Under the More Networks new device, what we have here is the ability to configure sound, display. The multi-window function is still present here and off by default. If you turn it on and press hold the back button, you have the little tab, and it's still present, similar to the Galaxy S4, S3, Note 2. We also have the ability of configuring our lock screen, our wallpaper, our font, notification panel, easy mode, and accessibility options here. If we turn off the screen, the default lock screen on the Note 3 from T-Mobile comes with this nice painted picture. You don't have the ability of having additional options by default or the additional screens that you get from Jelly Bean. Under lock screen, you go ahead and turn on multi-widget as well as shortcuts. Go home and then actually lock the screen. That's the main thing. And then once you turn it on, you'll have the default shortcuts set by the system. You also have the ability of adding multiple pages. I added the watch on the remote to the left as well as the shortcut applications on the right. This is how Samsung decided to add the implementation of it. You also have the ability of configuring the lock effect. By default, it's the watercolor, and then we'll be able to go under controls, which is the last one before last option, and this is where all the customization of TouchWiz come in. You have voice control, you have one-handed operation or car mode, hands-free operation for the car. The voice control enables you to obviously control incoming calls, alarm, camera, the music, overall very basic. The hands-free mode for the car is a nice upgrade from the Note 2 functionality. The Note 2 had car mode, but it doesn't actually give you the ability to customize it, where the Note 3 gives you the ability to not only customize it, what it can do, and then if you turn it on, you'll be able to set all those options. The S Pen functionality comes in right next to it, and that's basically how you'll be able to configure the S Pen to, when you turn it on, what the little circle to do, what's the default. If you double tap on the screen with the S Pen, what are the default functionalities you can, and you can customize all of those things in here straight into the S Pen function. Actually, if we go back real quick, we'll be able to see that we have the additional ability here, and actually this is the section at the bottom where we have the configuration for the S Pen. And then the other option that we have here is the one-handed function. This is Samsung's implementation of shrinking the size of the screen and making it functional for people with smaller hands or a one-handed operation. What we have here essentially is the rest of the page, and that's air gestures, air view, air command. You have the motion controls, you have the palm motion options, the smart screen, and the increased screen sensitivity. A lot of these things came straight from the Galaxy S4 if you're used to it and if you've seen them. Very functional, very usable, overall very nice. This page under general, what we have here essentially is where the accounts, you can set up your Google account, your cloud account. You're also able to set the date and time, the accessory, the application manager, as well as the battery, power savings. And last but not least, we're able to go to the bottom of the page and we'll be able to see what version of Android we're running. So if we turn on just real quick, we're running Android 4.3. One of the hidden features as far as the Galaxy Note 3 is it's under accessibility. It's called the Assistance menu. And a lot of the features that you'll see on this device are obviously very nice and make the device, either shrink the screen or do many things to it. This feature actually adds another button to your screen. It's a soft button interface to your device that enables you to bring down the notification panel, close it, be able to go home without actually having to touch any of the physical buttons on the screen. So if you ever have a damaged home screen button, or if you have any of the capacitive buttons not working, you can control everything. You can control the volume, the ability to control the brightness on the screen. It comes in 4 pages and you're able to customize which options you see. The main thing you want to keep in mind then is the option where it says setting, it's the setting to configure this tab. It doesn't actually have the settings by default. It's the device setting on the top left right here on the screen. Of course, you're able to control your brightness, and then you're able to change, also go into, obviously you're reloading the power device, and then here's the brightness option that I was talking about just a second ago. The main thing you want to keep in mind is it works as if you have your home button functioning. The only downside to this, it doesn't go away. So if you're using the device and you're going into playing a video mode, playing a game, of course that button will always be there. So it really is one of those things you want to keep in mind. If you like this feature, it's very nice. It does make it more one-handed friendly, as opposed to having to shrink the screen down to a functional size. It actually gives you the ability to control, bring down your notification panel, and just use everything straight out of the box without having any problems. Let me know in the notes though if you guys have or know of a way of making this disappear and bringing it back. Bring the S Pen. I think, in my opinion, the star of the show. We'll bring it up, we'll get rid of this little quick menu, and we'll talk a little bit about the pen. Overall, the pen itself is smaller, slightly more ergonomic than the Note 2. It fits in upside down, or actually right side up or upside down. There's no more configuration. If you bring it close enough to the display itself, you'll notice that there is the contact on the screen. This is using the Wacom type of display technology that enables the S Pen not to have any power built into it, but still be able to interface with the display and control everything. Overall, you still have the button on the middle part of the pen. If you bring it close enough to the screen and start looking at that little dot that's showing that there is a connection between the pen and the screen, and you'll be able to basically turn on the automatic menu that we brought out when we first brought the menu out. So let's bring it up real quick. We'll put that down close to the screen and holding the power, that little button, and we're going to double tap that, and then we'll get that little short menu. This menu is actually very nice because if you guys are familiar with the Note 2, when you're able to pull out the Note 2's pen, one of the main things is it bring in a helper page, which took over the entire screen and became kind of cumbersome. You don't have the ability of using what you're in. You have to kind of jump back to what you need to do, and then you just have to work it. So we brought it in, we took out the screen, we brought it back. You have the ability of using here, which is the action memo, the ability to be able to launch certain memos straight off the display itself. You have the options, of course, of going to Scrapbooker, which is the functionality that they added to this display to be able to put things in a scrapbook type of display option. Screen Write takes a screenshot of your screen and then able to write on it. S Finder, I think, is a very nice feature. It enables you to use a kind of universal search to the display or the device. Pen Window is that function that they added to the Note 3 that enables you to create a small window, such as by drawing the box like this. You're able to get a list of short applications that you're able to run in small shrunken version or small size. And this one I'm running the calculator, and you can see it runs over your screen. You're still able to run your multi-display, and it will work very nicely. What we have here is basically the multi-view functionality that we're used to in the Galaxy Note 2, the S4, and the S3. You're able to actually share multiple applications in this version, which is slightly different than the old one. I find that the Maps doesn't actually split nicely, but the YouTube application splits very well. You're able to run 2 instances of it and then actually be able to close it if you want. You also have the ability to, at the bottom, to set a preset view. So if in my situation I like to have the messaging application as well as the gallery application open at the same time, I can preset that, and every time I want to, I'll be able to send messages using that same functionality. Overall, very nice and very smooth and very, very, very well functioning. S Finder is one of the other applications that they have included with the suite of S Pen related tools, and it works very nice. Essentially, it's a universal search optimized to be used with the S Pen. It has built-in filters as there's 30 days, 7 days, location based, and as you can see, when I hit the 7 days, it just basically lists the last 7 days of the things I've done on the device. Screen Write is one of the other features that they provided to us, at least during using the S Pen functionality. And what it does, essentially, it takes a screenshot of what you're on. So the benefit of this, obviously, you can do this anywhere you are, but you're able to write on whatever screen you are in, and you're able to save it and share it. That's very nice. And if we go ahead and double click on the pen again, we're going to be able to bring in Scrapbooker. This is the additional kind of like a memo taking or an archiving type of functionality of things that you find interesting either online or on these specific parts of your screen. You're able to highlight the areas that you'd like, and what it does, it takes a screenshot, adds it into somewhat of a journal type of a situation, and it adds it as time goes on, and you're able to add more things. The main benefit is obviously is if you use this to bookmark or scrapbook something off of a web page, it keeps the source link, so you're able to go back to that link at a later time. The last but not least functionality of this is basically the taking memos, or at least taking memos with your pen, which essentially is what it was the main functionality of this. By bringing it up, you have a smart tab and you're able to add and write into it and say hello. Very simple. And the other thing is it's also contextually aware of what you write. So if we add just by default like a zip code, I'm going to add in 91210. Hopefully you guys are aware of where this zip code is from. And click the option as far as the globe, and I'm going to go ahead and use Chrome for this. You'll see that it actually goes through and it finds the location, brings the location-based information on Google search. So it uses hello for the search, and then it also finds 90210 telling me that it's Beverly Hills. Go ahead and start with the camera itself. It's very nice as far as the overall performance of the camera itself in good lighting. As far as low light, the camera samples or the picture samples are not exactly the best. The interface is pretty standard to the Galaxy S4 or the Galaxy camera if you used it in the past. You have your camera shutter button and your video on the top right, as well as the mode button on the right side to be able to choose the different scenes. You have your preview on the bottom left. You're setting your toggle between front and back facing camera right there on the top left, and as well as I have stabilization turned on. We'll go ahead and that we have here are pretty similar to the Galaxy S4 and the Galaxy camera. The main addition that we have here that we didn't have in the other versions is this surround shot, which is essentially Samsung's answer to Photosphere. The other thing also is there's no night stabilization or night shot, and you have to actually turn on smart stabilization to be able to use night shots, and that's actually turned on right now in the picture. The other thing we want to keep in mind is that to be able to turn on the front-facing camera or add yourself into the camera itself or into the shot, you're able to just turn that on by one button. You're able to turn on video, take a picture, and you're also able to add, or these are your filters in a sense, but what you're also able to do that you couldn't do before is download additional filters from the Google Play Store. Some are paid, some are free. You do have obviously the ability to go into settings. We'll go ahead and turn on the camera settings first. By default, I have it set at 9.6 megapixels only because of the 16:9 ratio. If we want to go to the full 13 megapixels, we are stuck to 4:3 ratio, which is a little bit limiting in the size of the viewfinder. So let me show you guys real quick. If we lift the camera, you notice here that it shrinks the screen, and it provides us a smaller version of the screen at a 4:3 ratio. Go ahead and turn it back on. Go back into settings, resolution, photo size. I usually like to keep it at 9.6. Overall, very nice. Video quality, by default, it's set to 1080p, and then this is where we have the additional video quality setting at 3840 by 2160, and that's the Ultra HD high quality video option. The only concern obviously here is that once you turn that feature on, you lose the video stabilization, and you have to have extremely steady hands, and if you don't, you do lose that functionality. Just keep in mind, you do have the option of using a higher resolution, especially with the Snapdragon 800 version of this device. The Exynos processors don't have this, but again, you need to be very steady hands. Other than that, you get to see the gallery real quick. I took a couple of snapshots with this. The quality of the picture, obviously, in good lighting is amazingly well. I can zoom in. It looks very clear. I'll try to include a photo gallery on my Google+. Other than that, as far as the video quality is also very good. I found that the night shots are not as crisp. Hope you guys like this. I don't know if you guys could see it from the general overview when I was doing this. It's very nice. It's lighter. It's thinner. I like the backing. I appreciate obviously having the new backing. It looks like a notebook. I have to say, since I've had the device and I've only had it for about maybe 5 days or so, I've had 3 people asking me what device this is and wanting to upgrade to it and wanting to get it. T-Mobile is the only carrier that has it as of today. I'm recording this over the weekend, so as far as I understand, Monday AT&T will be releasing their version of it, and even then the other carriers will have it following after that. It's very nice. It's very premium. I was able to pick up a couple of cases for it initially. I've been waiting for a better case, but overall I just put in just a standard case right now. For now, I'm waiting for it. The overall feeling of it when you put a case on it, it doesn't lose any of it. It just becomes, better grip. I did test it out with the Samsung dock. So if you have the smart dock from Samsung, it works very nicely. The audio comes out very good. It does charge and it will power. I did check also as far as the MHL. I'm able to project MHL to TV with the audio, provided you're using the adapter for the Galaxy S4, the Galaxy S3, or the Note 2. So if you have an MHL adapter that worked with the from the S3 on, you're fine. It plugs into any of the standard MHL adapters that are on the market. It's a Samsung little, I think it's at the 5 to 11 pin converter, and then you're able to plug it in and everything works fine. Keep in mind you do need to have an original Samsung adapter connected to it. So for the Note, you do need the 2 amp adapter that comes with the Note to power it. Otherwise, you won't be able to get a very good signal. I was able to check out and try the USB thumb drive, a 64 gig thumb drive, and it worked very nice. Overall, the OTG capabilities on the Note 3 are similar to the Note 2, as well as the S4. So you're not going to be disappointed with this device. The screen is amazing. I cannot speak the amount of volumes that I appreciate this device and how long I've waited for it. I definitely appreciate the size, the form factor of the device. I do use the S Pen. The S Pen itself actually is very nice. I'm just going to say this, and I'm not sure a lot of people will like it. I find it a little bit hard to get the S Pen out. I think the initial lip that we had with the Note 2 last year was easier to get out, even though it was harder to put in since you had to kind of figure out which side of the phone you want to put it in. Overall, it works very nice. The speaker sound is not as strong as the Note 2, so that's a little bit of a con on my side. But I do find that since it's facing down, facing away from the device, not facing down, it does work better for me. I had a kind of a case scenario yesterday. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, I'm in the middle of getting ready for a marathon, and in the middle of my run, my Bluetooth headset's power died on me. So I ended up turning on the volume on my Note 2 and just basically using it like a portable boombox on the side and playing music. And the fact that the speaker was facing out as opposed to back in the case that I was carrying it made it possible for me to hear it better. So it will work, it will do what you need it to do. Overall, phone calls are very clear. Both sides are very happy with the way the device works. I do find that I get better reception with the Note 3 over some of the areas where I know I've had dead spots with the Note 2 or even with the Galaxy S4 when I had it. The Xperia had the same problem as well. Overall, very satisfied, very happy with the device. I don't have very much use of the Knox feature that comes built into it as far as for security. This is a personal device, so it doesn't really benefit me anymore as much as where it's publicized. As far as the IR blaster, very nice. I did test it out with the TV, and I tested it out with my cable provider, and it does work very nice. I also tested it out with the camera that I'm shooting with here. It's 60D, and I'm able to trigger the camera and take pictures with it. So it works very nice, and it's a nice addition and a nice thing to have on a device. Let me know what you think. Hope you guys like this review. And again, next week we'll see the second part of where we're going to go ahead and root and again use some of the main benefits of why people come to XDA and check out our forums. I'll see you guys next week.